Hello, people of this planet, and welcome to another iteration of D&D Stories. Now, as a quick little disclaimer, I'd like to let you all know at this very moment that if you are interested in watching intricate stories with great ideas and excellent mechanics, you're in the wrong area of YouTube, my friend. I suggest you go watch someone else's video. But if you are interested in listening to a bunch of whack-offs that decide to converge together in someone's house and play the popular role-playing game known as Dungeons and Dragons, then you've come to the right place. Now, where we last left off, we had ended off in a bit of some combat. Now, nothing too special ended up happening after combat other than just constant arguing. Though, however, we did have another PvP quote unquote event as to after the combat. Now, if you remember in the last episode, assuming you watched the last episode, there was a big mishap between our group where Dexter, the Black D, and Geico from State Farm, oh yeah, tried to intimidate Faux Show to get his gold. Now, uh, Faux Show, after in the aftermath, we had two captives. Yeah, two unconscious captives. What ended up happening was our paladin Lysol decides, you know what, I'm going to take my fiery great sword of fire and I'm going to chop off the head. And he attempts to do so, but Faux Show steps in and tries to intimidate him. And I'm thinking to myself, like, here we go again. So these arguments go on for like 20 minutes. I'm not kidding. I'll post like the raw footage and you could count yourself. I'm not gonna. I listened to the footage before I even started this. So what ends up happening is Faux Show tries to intimidate Lysol. And just so y'all know, his name is Lyson. I just call him Lysol. And Lyson, being the idiot paladin he is, decides to cast the command Sleep on him. Faux Show fails the saving throw, falls asleep. Ben walks up to Faux Show, kicks him in the shoulder, and Faux Show gets back up. And I tell, Juan, I tell him, you just wasted a command spell. Great job. And he's just sitting there, like, in defeat, like, oh, yeah, you're right. Shit. Well, you messed up. It's okay. Everyone messes up every now and again. So, after wasting that command spell, Faux Show tries again to intimidate him. He rolled, I think it was like 17, and Lyson tries to roll saving throw but fails quite badly. He's intimidated, and the way this works is if you have a captive, you can send them back to like this palace that we were in at the very beginning, when we entered this new realm, and we have like an interrogation happen, but not on site. It's you send them for interrogation, and what ended up happening was, License tells Faux Show, you know what? Go then, go and send that heathen demon thing to the castle, and I'll wait here for you. And Jose, our Faux Show character, decides, I will, when I have time, and I'm ready, but not right now. So we're all arguing about all this kinds of stuff, and in the background, what we don't notice is that our good friend Jesse, who's playing the character Dexter, not from the show or anything else, his own character, that he like whispers to the DM, or maybe he just said it and we all didn't hear him. It's that whatchamacallit, he ends up killing the unconscious dude, and we're all like, oh god, come on. And our DM Mario decides to do that really annoying, like attention getting. Shut up! Don't do that, Mario. If you watch this, don't do that. It's annoying and irritating. And so Dexter killed one of our captives. 100 gold went away. If you capture them and turn them in, depending on their rank, minimum of 100 gold. We lost out on 100 gold. 10 gold we'll have to do. Okay, and Jesse tells the table, addresses to the table, I'm gonna kill the next one. And as soon as he says that, our monk, well not monk, boxer, the Tejano, please don't be copyrighted, uh, literally yells out to the point where the neighbors can hear him, I'm gonna drop kick you! Alright, then Jesus Christ. Everyone ganged up on Dexter at that moment. Like, it was quite bad. And again, this goes on for like 10 minutes, arguing after argument after argument. And what ends up happening is our DMPC, God, not God, I'm sorry, Carvus, carnivorous plant, decides to take out some steel mace out of freaking nowhere, out of his asshole, and bashes the head in of the other. And it's like, you're an idiot. Okay? And here's where our DM has like continuity errors that begin to come out, especially in this session, because he didn't really plan this far. I don't know how much he did plan, but he planned enough where we actually did the quest, because he's tried to do other quests and they did not go well, honestly. And after bashing the head in of the said goblin demon thing, we we argue even more. We start arguing with Carvas. We tell him, "Cuz what the fuck?" And we're just yelling at him. We're down his throat, like, "Man, why did you do that? We're gonna turn him in." And it's like, "Oh, but you had to send him back to the castle." Well, here's where shit hits the fan. Like, I think, what, 10 minutes into the game later. This after the first break, this half of the session only lasted like an hour and 30 minutes. Then afterwards, because the session in total is like 4 hours, so it doesn't really end up mattering. And we receive a new mission after trying to go past the supply line. Actually, no, it's not the new mission. What am I saying? It's the same one, going towards the village. My bad. And again, we keep on arguing. My notes tell me that. And after traveling, nothing ends up happening, thankfully. We have nightfall coming in. And upon nightfall, we end up having a player leave because he wasn't able to stay the whole time. So in the end, it was the temporary end of the Black Dragonborn, and he basically had to leave. And the way we had him leave was, all right, you shall report back to the castle palace thing, and let them know that there are hostiles in this area. Yeah. And time ends up passing by. Carvas tells us no fire. All right. With that cool, deep voice that Mario never gave him. It's alright. And he ends up, just no fire, sleep on the ground. We cannot give away our position no matter what. Carvas decides, alright, I'm gonna have first watch. Alright then, fine, asshole. And conveniently, nothing happened. Yep, nothing happened. Nothing happens during the NPC's turn. But I decide to take second watch. And as a Witcher, you can meditate. You can really meditate as any character or any race or class, more or less, in Dungeons and Dragons. But as a Witcher, you can God, I'm sorry, but I'm only doing one take. As a Witcher, you can meditate without expending like energy, more or less. And while meditating, my pendant again, and if you're unaware, the pendant within 50 feet will vibrate when it detects a magical creature within 50 feet. And the way our DM described it was, the pendant vibrates a little and then stops. And at that moment, I decided to make a joke. I basically yell, "Everybody wake up!" And the whole table exploded right after that. Like, yeah, freaking tiny vibration. Everyone wake up, get ready for battle. Nothing will probably happen. Alert the enemy. Good job. Right. And I rolled perception. I think I rolled like a 26 because I have a +9 and I'm a Witcher. So shut up. And what goes on is footsteps, pretty fast, rapid footsteps, try to go on, and I decide, you know what, instead of being an idiot like in every horror movie and try to, oh yeah, let me go and see what that noise was myself, even though I can basically see in the dark and have magic and strength and yeah, never mind. Shut up. So I decide to wake up. I think it was Ben. I woke up Ben. This dude literally tells me. He asks me. It's like, has it been 4 hours yet? Like, no, it's been two. Then let me rest. I'm like, dude, we need to explore the situation and find out what happened. But nope. He decides I want to meditate for the full 4 hours so that I can get the 8 hours rest. And I'm like, fine, screw it. Let me go get Faux Show. I tap on Faux Show's shoulder and he's like, "What do you want, heathen?" Here we go. Faux Show, I heard some footsteps over there. Do not bother me with such treachery, heathen. Now be gone. Let me rest. And I yelled out on the group. I'm like, does nobody want to help me? And I don't even bother waking up the Tejano. You know, Rene is just simulating the snoring, which was actually pretty realistic if you ask me. Like, damn, if I were to try that, it'd sound horrible. No one wanted to help. And it was hard, right? So I ended up waking up Carvis, our squad lead, and I'm like, Carvis, I heard some footsteps. And they're like, oh, do you know how many footsteps? Boy, our DM didn't tell me how many. He just said, you hear footsteps. So, oh well. You know, there's nothing much I could say about that. But, like, I tell him that, and it's just, alright. Who has the best stealth skills? And instantly, like, Faux Show and Ben just sit up and they like raise their hands. They wake up Undertaker style and like just go like, me, 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 me. Shut up. Now you want to wake up, asshole? Fine. All right. Whatever. That's fine. You don't want to help me. It's all good that you don't want to help me. I see how it is. I'm looking at the time frame of this recording, and there's actually not that much time that has passed. Like, wow, this. Oh well, this will be a shorter episode then. And moving on forward, Faux Show notices that they roll their stealth checks and all that, having to move silently, and they notice that it's a squad of demons walking by us, right? So convenient. Didn't even roll fate check. Just yeah, you know, there's demons walking by. This is every Sunday, and that ends up happening, and I after so long, cause like in the game, like 3 minutes have passed and it's just utter silence. I radio in, quote unquote, on Faux Show. I'm like, Faux Show, you see anything? What's your visual? And it's basically like, okay, this guy tries to deceive me, alright? He's like, oh, you see, all there is just a bunch of rabbits. And I tell the DM, I'm like, DM, can I roll insight on that? Because that's like super BS. And like I think I rolled a 9. I rolled 7 plus 2. Yeah, 7 plus 2 I believe, and then I rolled a 9 with the modifiers. And the DM doesn't even have Faux Show roll. He doesn't even have Jose roll. Just goes like, yeah, you failed, and then he like corrects himself. It's like, oh wait, no, Faux Show, you need to roll. And he rolls like a 4 plus 3, 7. And it's like, oh, I passed. And, it's like, oh, does he call me out on that? And I tell him, it's like, wait, you have to lie to me, Faux Show. Then he tries to deceive me again. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're right, it's my bad. It's actually just a bunch of squirrels that were passing by. And Jose is hoping that I have to roll again. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what do you have to gain on lying to me? Like, it's a squad of 10 demons, and I understand player versus character knowledge, but it's like, okay, a squad of 10 demons. Now note that Jose is the kind of player that when combat ensues, he'll run away, more or less. Like, he could have easily just been like, hey, demons! and then brought him towards us and then kept on running past us, we'll ask him, hey, what are you running from? A bunch of squirrels are chasing me, and then demons come out of the woodwork. It's like, yeah, he's that kind of player. It's kind of funny, though, in all honesty. I don't blame him. And I basically tell the DM, I'm like, dude, I just don't fall for his BS. I'm going to roll perception again and see if I can hear him. Because prior to this, the DM said that they were talking. And Ben had rolled to see if he could understand what they were saying, but, you know, he doesn't understand, like, infernal or something. Or demonic. Any of the demonic languages, like, I guess, undercommon. I'm not entirely sure if that's a demonic language. But for sure, infernal. He does not understand that. And I basically I think I rolled a 17 or a 19 this time. And he says I could hear them barely. Bullshit. They're only like 50 feet away from it. Well, more like 70 feet. And Faux Show, or at least Jose, gets the brilliant idea. You know what? I want to... Is there someone straying from the path? Instantly, as soon as he said that, I'm thinking to myself, oh no. Here comes the prisoner dilemma. And if you don't know what the prisoner dilemma is, if there's any DMs watching this, give your players a hostage, and you will see what kind of person they are inside. You will, like, it's just bad what people will do in this kind of game to, like, a hostage or a prisoner, especially if they're alive. I've seen things that people do with dead prisoners. It's absolutely messed up, Tommy. But that'll be a different D&D story for another day. Stay tuned for that, because that might be soon, actually. So, one of the demons strays away from the group. You know, the little sheep and the wolf ready to attack. And Faux Show's like, I got this. Pushes Ben forward. Go, Ben. And the table starts laughing again, because, you know, we're a bunch of idiots, and that's how we play. And Ben sneaks up right behind this demon, like, you know, just like, not face to face, but just right behind him. Pulls out a club, and I'm gonna skip to what happened, because, you know, the next 2 minutes of me talking about it would be useless. Pulls out a club. I think he rolled like an 11. Barely managed to hit. I think he rolled like an 11 or 12. Barely manages to hit the demon in the back of the head. Rolls, I think, like 8 damage. Mario rolled Constitution. Failed. So the demon knocks out. And our DM, Mario, tells Ben, roll Dexterity to see if you catch him before he falls. He rolled like a 9. He rolled low enough that he barely managed to catch him, like 2 inches off the ground or something. You know? And it's like, whew, you know, that sweat dripping down your face, like, whew. Holy crap, the crisis averted. Thank you, Jesus. And now we have a prisoner. And I'm sitting in the background of the table like, oh no, here we go. Let's see what our party decides to do with this poor soul, even though it's a demon, which it probably deserves torture. That's what happened, torture. Ugh, sorry, I burped. Torture is what happened, so get ready. If you do not like torture, leave now. Warning you. And what goes on is they sneak back, of course, with demon at hand or on back or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And Carvus gags him, decides to hog tie him with rope, which magically disappeared like after the second break. And whatchamacallit, decides to start torturing him. Now, before he started torturing him, Ben pulls out this bottle of infinite water, of unlimited water. And something that I found really, really annoying about this is that our DM basically sold that to him at, like, the guild hall, whatchamacallit, like, for, like, 10 gold. And, like, 10 gold for infinite purified water. Wow. Mario, you need to get your shit straight. So, uh, Carvus is like, no, because then everyone can hear him scream. And I decide to make the stupid comment. I'm like, cut off his tongue, cut off his vocal cords, blah blah blah. And it's like, I mostly said that as a joke. And it's like, well, how will he give us information? And I'm like, telepathy. Great idea, me. And I hear Mario, no, more like Carvus, say under his breath, idiot. I don't blame him. I call me an idiot too. So Carvus asks the party, does anyone have some form of paralysis poison or something? And Lyson instantly, right here, boy, like, uh-oh, here we go. And Carvus only had him drink, quote unquote, a drop of this paralysis poison. Now I read up on the D&D SRD, and it said that if it's ingested, it has to be a full dose or half a dose, not a single drop to completely paralyze someone for about 9 hours. Okay? Like, yeah, that makes sense, right? And what ends up happening is torture. Okay, well, now I'm not going to get into too much detail because there wasn't that much of detail, though I did add on to it like an asshole, because why not? This is the first time I ever really got into torturing someone, but it was the way I said it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this and that and this and that. But I only did one thing, so don't worry about it. And what goes on is Carvus pulls out this strange looking glowy knife or sword-ish. And instantly we all knew, hey guys, look, it's a lightsaber. The reason why we're talking about this is because in our D&D universe that we're in, lightsabers exist. My character has a kyber crystal that is black because I really wanted a dark saber. I really wanted it. But the problem is I need to find someone who can actually make it. And I do know of a character that can. Two, actually. I don't know about that second one, though. And the way Mario described it before he even started the campaign was, I am going to introduce a weapon that's better than the lightsaber. Between you and me, chances are he won't let us use it. And this is what happened. This is why I think that. I as soon as he pulled it out, I'm like, hey, can I borrow that? Just gives it to me. Doesn't even argue me down. Carvus does not argue me down. And I hold it. And Mario's like, the hilt starts burning your hand. I'm like, son of a bitch, and I dropped it and I kicked it. Basically, is what happened. And everyone starts laughing like, hey, you can't hold it, shut up. So, Carvus picks it back up. And he's like, the reason you can't hold it is because it's bound to my soul. I made a joke, I'm like, can I convince it to bound to my soul instead, to bind to mine? And he's all like, well, you can do that unless you kill me. And everyone is like, ooh. So it's like, uh-oh, we're about to gang up on Carvus here. And Jesse, who's Dexter's character is asleep, hears this. And the way Jesse describes it, while everyone's like, ooh, is like, I wake up and sit up and look at Carvus. It's like, oh no. Table basically like exploded right after that. Because it's like, all he wants is materialistic items, so that ends up happening. Now we have this motionless, feelingless, I guess you could say, demon that Carvus decides to start cutting, like, that torture of 1,000 cuts, death of 1,000 cuts, blah blah blah. Starts doing that, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna pull up my shaving kit, and I'm going to sprinkle it on him like an idiot. No, hold on, wait. Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pull out my shaving kit. I'm gonna pull out aftershave, because aftershave exists during this time. So shut up. And we all know as men that aftershave burns like hell. Imagine just a normal cut. So I pour aftershave on him, and as I described it, I'm gonna start rubbing it all over him. Like, oh yeah, how's that feel for you, baby? I'm so sorry. And it burns him up. He can't scream, can't speak, can't do anything. He's just there, motionless. I don't even think he could move his eyes either. So We ended up torturing him. Well, Carvas did. We just sort of stood there at the sidelines, and we had we then this is where we realized, and daybreak happens. This is where we realized that that Mario's continuity skills, sort of are lacking quite a bit. Where the way he describes it is Carvas goes up to the demon, whispers to him a command like phrase, not a command word, a command phrase, and basically telling him to go back to the palace for interrogation. Now that he's submissive, he'll basically do that like a mindless zombie. It doesn't matter. And we basically told the DM Mario, like, couldn't he have just done that with the other two? And I don't really think he like responded to that question. And they go, now he can do that, right? Yeah, makes sense. And we ended up continuing on the path that we took. The demons are long gone. They didn't even find out that one of their allies went missing. They did not notice us. They did not hear us. They didn't bother to go look for him. But oh well, there's nothing that can be done, right? So we're moving on forward, and we actually encounter an encampment of demons. And we argued for like 15 to 17 minutes as to what to do about this camp. And at the very beginning, I said, why don't we just go around them? Like, it doesn't really matter. Just go around. Like, why fight? Everyone's like, but the XP, the gold, the loot, the skin. Dude, there's 10 of them and like, okay, maybe there's like 7 of us, so it's more or less a fair fight. And I know for sure that if we engaged in combat, since I'm the highest level, I'm gonna have like 3 of them on my booty hole. So, yeah. After like almost 20 minutes of arguing, yeah. We decide to move on around. Thank God everyone passed their stealth checks more or less. Until we reach some tall grass, like a tall grass field and some whatchamacallit? A burning village I'm sorry. In the distance. And it's not the village that we were supposed to go to. It's just a random burning village that is there. It's just a burning village. And that is where we left off that part after the break. So, in conclusion, not a lot happened in terms of story, because this is mostly how Mario DMs stuff. Not much ends up happening story-wise, because again, remember, our sessions mostly involves us being a bunch of jackasses and playing just this game for fun, because we're horny teenagers, we want to play. So that'll wrap up the end of this particular episode of D&D. I do hope that you join us for the next iteration, in which we find out what happened to the villagers, what is going on, and everything else. And what I'm planning on doing is converging both parts of the final last half of the session into one episode, so it might be a little longer than the previous two. So I do hope that you join us, or at least me, for the next iteration of D&D Stories. God bless and have a wonderful day.